welcome back to the programme. Now, still to come, Stefan Buchatsky will be showing us the best shake and vac in the garden. And we meet the team from Grindforce when Alan Titchmarsh and Charlie Dimmock agreed to be set in concrete. Wait for that one. Now, our next guest is one of the most recognisable and loved faces in television. She's dealt with the hearty folk of the Yorkshire Dales in all creatures great and small. And she's kept the laughs coming in the sitcom Faith in the Future. And, of course, she had the best-fed family in television as part of the long-running OXO ads, particularly at Christmas.
My Christmas by Alison. I got a lovely new dress and Mummy loved me in it. And Nick got a super pullover.
That's nice, dear.
With a puppy on it. And Grandpa played Jingle Bells again, just like last year. And Jason got a smashing present that made everybody laugh.
What's this?
And Daddy did a terrific magic show. And everybody had the most wonderful Christmas ever. And Mummy made the gravy.
Well, she's always been a saucy lady, I have to tell you, particularly recently when she played Mrs. Gadsby opposite Albert Finney in My Uncle Silas. And the classic tale, of course, of a rural reprobate and the devilish mischief that he created everywhere. Well, today it's a complete change of direction because she's here to talk about the annual Festival of Trees, which actually raises a lot of money for neglected children in the UK and around the world. So now we give a very, very warm welcome to Linda Bellingham. You've been up the entire night decorating these trees. What a chore it's been.
Are they not stunning?
They are completely stunning. Tell me about this one, first of all.
This is the Escada tree. So all these different design houses do these. And I'd just like to draw your attention, Gloria, and everybody, to this little bauble I have on my hand.
Ooh, let's have a look. Can we get a nice big close-up of this ring?
Can we see this? Look at that. This will be on the tree. As a present on the tree. Can you imagine? I wouldn't say no to that at the bottom of my bed.
So anyway, so this one has just arrived from Germany, I'm told.
Yes, and it's taken between 5 and 6 weeks to make. And what I think, so I've been to 3. I went to the very first Festival of Trees 12 years ago. This is the 12th year. And I wasn't quite sure, and people can't kind of imagine what to expect, and I thought perhaps a few rather sad Christmas trees. And then you get there, and these creations are lined up in the Natural History Museum, and the care that goes into them, and it's got all the things that you'd need to go to the ball, like the handbag and the shoes.
And the frock.
And the frock, yes. But I think, yes.
So, and the ring. Of course, this is something you'll be recreating naturally enough for your own household.
Yes. Say no more.
Let's go to the suitcase. This one is rather different.
Again, it's absolutely beautiful.
This is from Burberry.
This is Burberry, and it's got a Burberry Barbie.
Right,
I've got boys in my house, they wouldn't be interested at all in this, but and a scarf and the umbrella and the candles.
But candles are beautiful smell,
and it's got charms on the tree. I mean, these trees, I have to tell you, in auction, fetch thousands. I mean, they're hoping to raise over 175,000.
We've got a photograph of one that raised megabucks some years back. Let's have a look at that photograph, if we can. I forget how many thousands of pounds it cost.
Well,
40, how much? Had 40 or what?
Oh, yes.
14,000. Look at
the Snakes and Ladders, I remember that one.
Do you?
I actually, one year, thought I was being frightfully clever and tried to up the bidding. So I kept bidding against people. I have no money at all, by the way, but I kept going... And suddenly it got to £15,000, and there was like absolute silence. So it's gone very quiet.
And you thought?
And everybody was looking at me. And it was me. And my whole life flashed before my eyes, including the bank manager. How am I ever going to explain to the bank manager that I've done this? But I have to say that what I think is so wonderful about it is that...
I take it you didn't buy it at 15,000.
No, and then there was a moment, and then somebody went, and another, and sweat was just pouring off.
I bet. Anyway, let's have a look at this one as well, because this is unusual,
yes,
isn't it?
because it's quite plain, for instance, compared to the Escada tree, but this is the events tree, and a lot of the committee for Save the Children spend literally weeks and weeks and weeks. Inside the little gold pouches are things like a trip to Fulham Football Club. The football is signed by all the members of the Fulham Football Club. There's an outing, there's a trip to Champneys, there's a day at the... Wonderful for a company to buy that and then be able to have all Wimbledon tickets. So that will fetch a lot.
And when does all of this take place?
This all takes place next Tuesday, and actually the Scottish one, which is being held at the weekend, because this is their second year, this is the 12th in London, and it's December the 4th, and Princess Anne will be there and has got to sit next to me on the top table.
Oh, what a shame.
Yes, I'll be pouring her gravy.
Of course.
But obviously she does an awful lot of work for Save the Children, and I think it's important to say that what Save the Children want is for every child the right to a happy and healthy childhood. I mean, this isn't... For some people, it is not a right.
Do you have good memories at Christmas time as a child?
Oh, I love Christmas. I have trees in every room, and I won't let my sons ever touch my Christmas tree, because, you know, our children always pile everything on it. And I like mine rather tasteful. So they've
Are you coordinated in your trees?
I do, I'm very coordinated. And so they've got little trees in their bedrooms. But, I mean, I remember as a child, I was getting a teddy, and I've still got him, a white teddy, and my mum had knitted him a blue suit. And he still sits on my bed today, so he's quite old, really. And
you missed that point, audience.
And they were being nice and thinking, no.
Yes, exactly, yes.
And I knew we were getting them, and I said to my sisters, because I'd seen the packets, but we couldn't find them anywhere. And we ran into the room on Christmas Day, all around the tree, you know how you do, and we'd felt all the not a teddy bear to be seen. And the whole of the unwrapping went on, nothing, no teddy. And it was getting a bit lip trembling. And suddenly my father went, "Good Lord, what's that up there?" And they were all sitting on the picture rail.
Oh, fantastic.
Because we were only little, so we all looked up and there were 3 teddies all around.
So you'll be with your boys, obviously, this Christmas, won't
and
you?
I cook on Boxing Day, where my parents... I've got 2 sisters, and we take turns each year to cook on Boxing Day. We all have Christmas Day on our own, because by the time you've got children and grandchildren and all sorts, it used to take forever. You'd be there all day and absolutely exhausted by the end of Christmas Day. So we have 2 lots of presents. Christmas Day and then Boxing Day.
You're a well-spoiled girl, aren't you?
I know, and then I cook. And
then
I
you
do
cook,
love it.
and then you use that gravy. OK, I want to go on actually to acting, because the last time I saw you were having a bit of bodice ripping on the bed.
I know, it's exciting.
I tell you, my Uncle Silas, he's naughty, isn't he?
Oh, and he's my idol. I mean, to actually get to work with Albert Finney was honestly one of the high spots of my career, and I was very nervous because you often don't get time to rehearse properly.
You nervous, Linda Bellingham?
I do. I get incredibly... And, of course, you know, for an old bird, I was showing far too much of the... Blimey, you could eat your breakfast off them.
I thought you enjoyed doing all of that. I thought there she is flaunting them and enjoying it.
Well, I haven't done it for so long. It's sad, isn't it? I've waited all these years to flaunt them. Well, I did it once, many years ago, but we don't talk about that. And I said to the first assistant, "Do you think you could ask Mr. Finney if it would be all right if he would go through the lines with me?" But I said, if he doesn't want to know, I quite understand you, it doesn't matter. And the next thing I heard was, "Miss Bellingham, get your arse in here." And I went trotting along, and he was a joy. I mean, he's just such a wonderful actor.
And, of course, you lost a lot of weight in recent years, didn't you? How many stones did you take off?
2.5 stone. But it took me 18 months to lose it, which is the right way to do it. And I've managed to keep it off, and I do aerobics, which is incredibly boring, but works.
Keeps it off.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, did you sort of, in a way, because of the weight loss, sort of feel really good about flaunting the body?
Well, I think that, in a way, there's a bit of that, isn't there? That you want one final sort of go at it before you really are too... I mean, I've just done a pilot with Sue Johnston.
Look at Syl and Barbara Windsor last night.
Well, they looked fantastic. I just thought
they looked brilliant.
I know, absolutely fantastic. And I think perhaps one hopes that there's women of a certain age perhaps will get a bit of a go on the telly a bit more. I'm doing a pilot, actually, with Sue Johnston.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because I get the feeling with you that you increasing now get actually better parts. Well,
it's supposed to... I mean, you hope so, don't you? I mean, there is a kind of area of telly where they don't quite know what to do with you when you get to these middle years, and they kind of want you to go away and get old and come back as Miss Marples, you know, and you wonder where she went for 50 years, you know. Hello, dear. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I really don't have a problem with that, but...
Because you've got the Braithwaites coming up.
Yeah, I've got the Braithwaites coming up.
And then you've got this pilot you were mentioning with Sue Johnson. So what's the storyline there?
Well, that's 2 friends who were best friends at school. They planned to go... when we live in Crewe, or they lived in Crewe, which is not the most... An apologies to Crewe, but, you know, it's not the most exciting place in the world. And just as they're about to go off to London, Sue's character falls in love and gets married and dumps my character, who has to go off to London on her own. And so they don't speak for 30 years, and then they meet up again, and my character's come back to live in Crewe. And, of course, it's that interesting thing where Sue's children are now grown up, and she's married to a nice but quite dull Dougie, played by Bill Patterson, who's brilliant. And, of course, they both think the other one's got the perfect life, or they're better off than the other one. So we get together and then start going off and doing karaoke and all sorts of adventures we have.
So do you hope then that that will be a series eventually?
Yes, it's in the hands of, you know, those men in suits. But
But did it feel good at the time? Did you?
It did, and
well?
Sue's a fabulous, a wonderful
Gosh,
person to work with. I know, and it's such a joy because that can only be good for everybody else. It's like when Joan Collins did Dynasty, and everybody suddenly thought, you know, there is life after 50 or whatever. And I think there are an awful lot of people watch the television who are over 50. Who want stories that they can associate with.
Sure. I just want to say to people in Crewe, by the way, I think Crewe's a lovely place, so don't write to me, just write to Linda, will you?
Oh, she's such a creep, isn't she?
Anyway, your auction's next Tuesday.
The auction is next Tuesday, and let's hope it raises lots and lots of money.
What's the venue again?
It's the Natural History Museum, so we'll be sitting under the dinosaur. But I just think that the work that's gone into that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's not just like giving loads
and we hope
of money.
people who have lots of money will go along and support the cause. Anyway, Linda, thank you so much for coming in at fairly good speed today. Linda Bellingham, thank you. Now, after the break, you can find out why you could have Charlie Dimmock and Alan Titchmarsh sitting in your garden, and actually, not as difficult as you think. So we'll see you after the break.